Good evening, my brothers and sisters, and welcome to another episode of A Word with Pastor Webb. I'm your host, Pastor Webb, and we have a very special guest this evening, Dr. Dexter Frederick. Please help me to salute and celebrate my friend and brother. How you doing, Doc? How you doing?
I'm doing wonderful, wonderful. Thank you for having me today.
How was the drive? How was the drive?
Not bad, not bad. You know, it took me about 25 minutes, got here safely. Most important thing.
Perfect, perfect. We're not going to prolong the time. What's your story? How did you grow up?
You know, Pastor Webb, my story began on a small island in the Caribbean called the U.S. Virgin Islands.
Okay.
I was one of 3 children.
Okay.
And my mom was a legal secretary. My dad was a tradesman, never finished high school.
Okay.
But they believed in the power of education, believed in the power of generosity and the power of just service.
Okay.
And you know, they guided us through that and gave us some opportunities, and I'll be forever grateful.
Did you ever go back to the Virgin Islands and visit?
Yes, my mom is still there.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah, sadly my dad passed away a year ago.
Okay.
But we still have roots there, and I still visit, and allows me time to just decompress going back sometimes.
All right. So what you like best about the Virgin Islands?
Oh, the food is just...
what was your favorite food?
You know, we have something called breadfruit.
Okay.
I love that. We have some
Breadfruit?
Breadfruit.
Breadfruit,
Yes,
okay.
it's a starchy type of fruit.
Okay, okay.
That you can mix with fish.
Oh, okay.
And of course, there's a lot of fish of different flavors.
Okay.
That I enjoy. And we have a delicacy dish called we call it fungi. But it's cornmeal, and it's just delicious. And my mom is just one of the best cooks
in the world.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Okay. Okay. Now, give me 3 words that best describe who you are and why.
3 words best describes. I would say that I'm hardworking.
Hardworking. Okay.
Yeah. I really had to push and hard work. And second one, I would say I am a very compassionate person.
Compassionate.
And I would say I'm a generous person.
So hardworking, compassionate, and generous person.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, what are some of your hobbies? What do you like to do for fun? You're a doctor. You're busy. So what do you like to do for fun?
You know, growing up, I've always enjoyed the outdoors. Always enjoyed running. I ran track in high school, and so being outside. So running, walking, hiking. You know, during the pandemic. You know, my family and I enjoyed long walks.
Long walks, okay.
Yeah, and that was just a joy that I could still have the ability to do that, which I enjoyed with them. So I do that, and then also I like quiet time. And reading books. Just
to yourself.
Quiet time. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And just spending time with my girls.
Okay.
Yeah.
How many girls you have?
I have 2 girls.
No boys?
No boys.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, but I heard real men make girls.
I have 1 girl. So I'm a real man.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. Now, what are you? You're a medical doctor. What is your specialty, and what is a typical day for you?
So my specialty includes internal medicine and pediatrics.
Okay.
I'm double boarded.
Okay.
But I mostly do internal medicine.
Let me back up. When you say you're double boarded, explain.
So after you finish medical school, you can decide on a specialty.
Okay.
I enjoy taking care of adults, and I enjoy taking care of kids.
Wow, the best of both worlds.
Yeah, and so I had to make the decision: do I choose one? Do I choose both? And I enjoy the flexibility. I enjoy the knowledge in terms of you know, taking care of the little ones, and they're so precious. So I decided to do both. So instead of doing 3 years of residency, I did 4 years.
Wow.
Which allowed me to be double boarded, having a specialty in pediatrics and internal medicine.
Okay.
And I mostly do medicine now, see adults, and I'm the proud physician at the James Haley VA Hospital.
Wow.
I take care of our America's heroes.
Wow.
At the VA.
That's a blessing. That's a blessing.
Yeah.
You somebody.
Say that again?
You somebody. Okay, so why did you choose this profession?
You know, I was, you know, I've asked that, over the years been asked that question, and every time I answer it slightly different.
Okay.
And I kind of have a new perspective on it, looking back.
Okay.
And we were all born in God's image.
Right.
And we were predestined for greatness.
Right.
we were not, there's no predetermination.
Right.
We had to do some of the work. But my mom really exposed me to the world of healthcare.
Wow.
As a high school student. And I would say healthcare medicine chose me, and later I chose it.
Okay.
Because if I wasn't in that environment, in high school, every summer I spent time in the hospital, shadowing doctors.
Wow.
You know, seeing doctors and nurses that look like me, that I could see myself one day.
Wow.
I probably wouldn't be empowered to do and stick with it and be determined to work hard to get where I am today. So I chose it, and that's why one of my ministries is an organization called BEST, where I kind of replicate my life story into that ministry. But I chose it, you know, not out of I've chosen it, and I think that I would have chosen, you know, in terms of the legacy that as a physician you can build in a community. Mm-hmm. The changing of the lineage of individuals and improving their health, mm-hmm. and making sure that the education of knowing that sugar is a bad thing, and that father, that mother, transfers that knowledge to a child, and it prevents diabetes down the road, and changing that lineage, and of course just prolonging life and giving love to individuals in a very noble way that many other people don't have that opportunity.
Right. Now you mentioned BEST, B-E-S-T.
Yeah.
Explain, acronym means what?
Yeah, Brain Expansion Scholastic Training. It's a medical program for underrepresented youth.
Okay.
To inspire, encourage, nurture their development in becoming nurses and doctors.
Wow.
For the next generation.
Yeah, I like that. I like that. I like that. Now, what has been your most memorable moment as a doctor?
I think there are two.
Okay.
I know you want one, but
okay, give me two. Give me two.
So one of them has to be where there was a gentleman I was working with for 5 years at the VA, mm-hmm. who had struggled with weight loss. Okay. About 400 pounds. Wow. And he was determined. And every time, over 5 years, every time he came to visit, every 6 months to every year, we would talk about what are the steps needed. And it all starts with here, you know, your mindset and the power that you have within you that God gave you. Right. And we worked on that over the couple of years, bit by bit. It started to click, and trying to give him the resources that he needed. And over the 5 years, Pastor Webb, you know, he lost almost 150 to 200 pounds. Wow. And every time he comes to see me, he hugs me. He said, "You are the reason why I am healthier," and I tell everyone they can do this. Amen. Because of what he has overcome. So I always, you know, and I always tease him. I said, you know, you are the reason I went to medical school. You know, right. For such a time as this that God placed me in your life, and yeah. And then the second one is, as a physician, more of a personal thing, is where there are many instances I have, as you know, I told you I was a pediatrician. Right. There are many instances where I supported the care and having the knowledge to take care of and save the lives of my children. Wow. Yeah. So, you know, I'm grateful for that knowledge, and I didn't know why I did pediatrics many years ago, but there are many instances where, you know, I had the ability to make decisions for my family and my daughters that if I wasn't there, their lives may have been cut short. Wow, that's awesome. Yeah, that's awesome. That's memorable to me. Wow, wow, wow. And now, do you still remember your white coat ceremony? And what do you remember about it? My white coat ceremony occurred in 1993. 93, okay. Taking me back. So because of the distance of where I live, where I was in California, where I went to medical school, and my parents being in the Virgin Islands, right. The memory of them being there, I don't have. Okay. So that pomp and circumstance, so it was myself and maybe a few friends in California. But what it did for me, what I did remember specifically, was that it was the first time I felt that being a doctor will happen. It's an adornment of all the physicians that have gone before you. Right. and the legacy that many of individuals who've been there before you, and the fact
Right.
that you have it, and it's going to happen.
Okay.
And that was, I can remember that.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Really.
So you felt like Joseph, you got your special coat.
Yeah, it was special, and that's why, you know, it's so important. One of the things we do in our ministry in the best organization is we have a white coat ceremony for
Wow.
one of our elementary schools, Dunbar Elementary.
Wow.
And every January we have a white coat ceremony.
Wow.
Where that school is a medical magnet school, and we have a white coat ceremony.
Wow.
Because I believe in the importance of
Wow.
of images.
Yeah.
And that image for me was big.
Wow.
And of course, I hope that it inspires them at their tender young age.
Wow. So what advice would you give to a young person who wants to go into your profession?
I think the advice I would give is, number one, tell what your dreams are.
Okay.
Tell us what your dreams are.
Okay.
Go to someone and tell them, I want to be this, I want to be that. Because as adults and as, especially as individuals in the community, as pastors and careers, professionals, we want to see more of us.
Okay.
We may not articulate it,
Right.
many of us, but I think we all want to inspire, you know.
Okay.
So tell us. Number two, I would say, you know, find mentors, find individuals who can believe in you. Not everyone who says they're going to believe in you will, you know, do what and get their hands dirty for you.
Right.
But find those individuals. They're out there. Thirdly, I would get your hands wet, meaning I would get involved in community projects that kind of nurture that dream.
Right.
So if you're interested in engineering, join the robotics team. If you're interested in being the executive chef, you know, do culinary arts during the summer, you know, cook for your family. If you believe in trying to go into healthcare, medicine, you know, join the best summer medical academy. You know,
There it is.
you know. And then lastly, Pastor Webb, I would, you know, everything you do it with excellence.
Amen.
Get the grades up, you know, present yourself well, dress well, you know. And I think students can get there.
Okay. Now, what are some of the misconceptions of your profession?
Yeah, I think one of the misconceptions, and we'll only do one,
Okay.
is I think individuals in the community or, you know, patients think we have all the answers.
Wow.
And I'm humble enough to tell you we don't.
We don't.
And that's why there is research. That's
Amen.
why there are so many different specialties. That's why, you know, insurances allow you sometimes to go get a second opinion.
Amen.
You know, so I think we don't have all the answers. You know, many years ago, the medicine, medical field, physicians were known as gods, right?
Right. I know. Yeah.
And that should be removed from.
Yes.
That nomenclature should be removed from our vocabulary, because we are flesh and blood.
Flesh and blood, right.
Like everyone else.
Amen.
With certain skills and knowledge, and I think that's a misconception. So I encourage people to get second opinions.
Okay.
Don't shy away from it. It's okay to ask your physician questions, and don't feel like he or she is inadequate when they don't have the answers.
Right.
If it's a conscientious physician, they will look up the answers for you.
Okay,
And kind of
okay.
guide you in the right direction.
All right. Now, what are some of the challenges that go along with your profession?
I think some of the challenges, clearly, post-pandemic, it just blew it up. I think there's a burnout phase of being in this profession, which is clearly evident. We can see within every sector of healthcare. I think family life balance is big, and I think administrative burden
Okay.
with insurances and many other forms of supporting our patients has really kind of handicapped our love for medicine.
Right.
But we still have to pass that and get it done.
All right. Since you asked that question, you brought that question up. How do you balance work and family?
You know,
Or do you balance work and family?
I absolutely have to. You know, I have a loving spouse who makes an effort
Okay.
to make sure that my life on this earth is here as long as possible.
Okay.
So it's important for her, we do things together and try to, engage our daughters. But one of the key things is being a believer, being a Christian. One of the things is that I definitely take time to relax on the weekends,
Right.
especially on Saturdays, where it's fellowship time for us. So that allows me to decompress and to really balance my life. I think that I get involved in the community,
Right.
and that takes me away from, that gives me hope for the next generation,
Right.
which is so therapeutic for me and for anyone. If you want to consider, just being, if you're busy in life, and takes you to what's important in life. So, I intentionally ask the good Lord to present opportunities for me, or to block things that takes me away from the hassle and bustle of this life.
Well, let me go back to you. So you're married with 2 girls. Do you see your wife as a patient and your kids as patients at times? When you sit at the table, you see them as wife, a daughter, or you see them as a patient? You shouldn't do that. You should do that.
Yeah.
How you treat them?
Well, no, I mean, if it's detrimental to their life, I actually step in.
Stop!
Yeah. And sometimes my wife may say, well, we need to do this, we need to do that. I said, well, let's call a pediatrician. My daughters do have pediatricians, and I said, but there are times I would definitely, in growing up, and this is a good example. When we came to Florida, we left California, came to Florida, and we got a home.
Right.
And we decided whether or not we should get a pool.
Uh-oh. Ooh.
Yeah. And in growing up, in my training in California, I spent a lot of time in pediatric ICU.
Right.
A lot of kids who drowned.
Drowned, exactly.
And I said, absolutely not. I would not rest at work. So we never got a pool. And so I say that to say, if it's something detrimental and I know I couldn't live with, I cut it off. I'm Dr. Frederick in this house today.
Today, whether you like it or not,
yes.
The decision has been made. Right. Okay, now, I heard you wrote a book. What is the title, and why did you write the book?
Yeah, I brought a copy for you here. Yeah, it's called Flatlining.
Okay.
Yeah, Flatlining. And it's a book that, it's a call to action and also a guide to the need for increasing underrepresented minority healthcare workers.
Okay.
If we were in this space right now and we had 100 doctors, only 2 or 3 of them would be African American.
Right.
And what happens is that it's important for us to know that what this leads to is early death for millions of Americans.
Wow.
Because of the need for there to be empathetic cultural approach to taking care of patients of color.
Right.
So in my vision, in my ministry, I have for 17 years in the community, have tried to inspire the next generation of black and brown students to be part of this, healthcare network. So I wrote the book because I talked to my story, my first 3 chapters, and my struggles going through high school, college, and medical school. But I also gave information on what creative things can we do. Education 30 years ago can't be the same today.
Right.
So we've got to inspire them, and create opportunities, create attractive means of getting anatomy into their brains or learning about the biology, rather than just from a teacher to student, book, computer. And I'm all into creating innovative technologies for our students. And then lastly, I talked about the history really of where we were as medical schools, the fact that we had many medical schools, up to in the early 1900s, we had probably about 15 African American medical schools, and that dropped down to 2 medical schools.
Wow.
Which was Howard and Meharry.
Right.
Since then, we've added a few more.
Right.
But that needs to change. If we're serious about trying to improve the lives of Americans, especially underrepresented patients, we've got to increase the pathway process and get them in the way. You know, they do that for coaches. Parents do that for basketball players. You know, kind of get them ready in 6th, 7th, 8th grade. You know, and football players, and you know, we need to do that for STEM fields, so that we can give them images.
All right. Now your book is Flatlining.
Yeah.
You get that title from where? I mean, why you chose flatlining? Because flatlining means dead, right?
It means dead, and some people said, well, you know, why would you write such a depressing book? Right. Well, you know, that's what's going to happen.
Amen.
People are going to flatline. You know, the fact of the matter is that since 1974, the number of black male medical students have not really increased. Applying to medical school and matriculating, and that number even gets less as they go through with the dropout rate. So we have flatline, and if we're not purposeful, intentional, we are not going to get where they are, and patients are going to flatline.
All right. Now, if you had to start over, would you want to be a doctor? Why not?
I definitely would want to be a doctor again. You know, there are many doctors currently who are telling students, you know, please don't go that route, you know. But I feel that individuals, students need to know that they can change lives, they can change a legacy, they can change the lineage of their the pathway of a community. And I am blessed. I'm thankful.
Amen.
Much gratitude of the longevity so far He has given me to pursue this noble field. And it's my life work to get more of us in there.
I like that. Now, what are some of the early mistakes you made in life you had to overcome?
Yeah, there may be mistakes, or maybe there was lack of opportunities. I'm not too sure how we would phrase that, but clearly there were courses I could have taken in high school, like advanced science courses, maybe advanced English courses, advanced you know, courses like in anatomy, which I didn't pursue, you know, and because when I got to college, I had to catch up a little bit. You know? But
well, let me stop there. So you had to catch up.
Yeah.
And there's a perception that people come in on top of their game.
Oh, yeah.
But you had to catch up.
I had to catch up.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, I had to catch up. And God has a very amazing sense of humor, because that catching up allowed me to pause, to refine myself as a person.
Amen.
I know that that's truly what I wanted to do. Because in catching up, you know, you can feel less than, you can feel this is not for you. And when people talk about the fact that you had to catch up, you start to self-doubt a little bit.
Right.
Yeah. But that burning desire never left me. You know, those images in high school, those doctors never left me. So those things allowed me to really purpose in my heart. And now, it's okay. It's okay to catch up. It's okay to fail a class.
Amen.
You know, that's not your end of your story. You know, you're on a journey here. And so we look at it as lessons learned and foundations that build us up.
You just gave me a sermon title, The Power in Catch Up.
Oh, wow. When you preach that, let me know.
Yes, sir. Hey, what has been your biggest loss or biggest fear?
Well, I lost my dad a year ago. And that was tough. You know, he did not live to see the end of the book, but clearly dedicated parts to him. So that was a loss.
He died from?
You know, he died from end-stage renal failure. He had the opportunity to do dialysis. And he did not decide to do it. And I learned a lesson from that. He had lived well. He had, he had trained, developed his family, stayed married to Mom for many years, taught us right from wrong, my brother is a PhD, my sister is an engineer.
Wow.
And he had traveled the world.
Right.
So he said, he said, hey, if I was 50, I would do dialysis. But God has given me my 3 scores and 10.
Amen.
So so he went up, we went to the Lord, and
Wow.
and so we're grateful, even though we miss him.
All right, all right. Now, what are you most proud of?
I'm most proud of an organization that is making a difference in the Tampa Bay community called BEST. I'm very proud that I have corralled, encouraged, been supported by a number of educators and companies and friends and board of directors to join this ride with me.
So you're the CEO?
I'm the CEO and founder of BEST, 17 years, and we have made quite a difference.
Amen.
We have made an impact of over 5,000 students.
Wow.
Many of them are nurses, doctors throughout the United States.
Perfect.
Making a difference. But even more proud than that, Pastor Webb, is that my daughter, who was part of the program.
Oh, wow, wow.
Yeah, a couple of years ago, she looked at her dad and said, I love the examples of compassion that you show. I love the fact that you've used science to change patients' lives, and she now wants to be a physician.
Amen.
And is on her way to medical school.
So while she didn't program, she didn't flex and say, my dad in charge. I get special privileges.
No, she had to work just as hard as everyone else.
Yes,
I try not to get in her way too.
Amen.
And she set her own path, and she's doing great.
All right. Now, if you had one wish, what would that be?
I think if I had one wish, I would try to give no reason for anyone not to get health care.
Wow.
I think there are many laws. I think there are many processes. I think there are many insurance loopholes.
Right.
And stop gaps that prevents patients from being healthy and from people to getting health care. And as much as we are a capitalist country, I still think there are opportunities we can still provide where no one has an excuse to run out of insulin,
right.
to run out of the low blood pressure medication.
Wow.
People are making decisions between paying their light bill
right.
and buying insulin.
Wow.
That shouldn't happen in our country.
It shouldn't.
And health disparities is just cost millions and millions of dollars every year, and we can make a difference.
Amen. Amen.
But it takes political will. It takes
Yeah.
It takes an understanding that we're in this together.
Amen. Amen. If you could trade places with one person, who would that be?
I toyed with the idea of trading with Obama.
Obama.
I have toyed, I've toyed with the idea of many of the African American physicians who've gone before us.
Let me back up. You kind of look like Obama. I think about it. You remind me of Obama.
I was walking, it just happened
Yeah.
yesterday.
Yes.
I was walking in, and this gentleman walked up to me and said, we need you back in office. I was like, what are you talking about?
Right.
But the idea was, he missed Obama and because I look like him.
Yes.
But I think the person I would replace would be Martin Luther King Jr.
Okay.
I think what an opportunity to be in a place where you can corral a nation and dig out the deep sensitivities of hatred or deep sensitivity of, or bring out the alternative of that, of love, in such an articulate way, where he was able to do that. There were
Amen.
sacrifices.
Amen.
But because of that, we now can be in professions like medicine. We
Amen.
can, and being supported by communities and having laws change where we can be equal.
Amen.
And that it would be interesting to be in his shoes.
Yes, Lord. Yeah. How has God played a role in your success?
Oh, um, you know, everything. I don't know where to start,
Amen.
Pastor Webb.
Amen.
You know, I was involved in a near-drowning accident many years ago.
Yeah?
Yeah, in college. I wasn't supposed to be here, and he got me through that with all my mental faculties, and that is when I realized that I had more to do on this earth.
Amen.
So every facet, I have a praying mom.
Amen.
My dad was a praying father, and they raised us in the Lord. So
Amen.
so I owe all things and
Amen.
give gratitude at all times, every step of the way.
So you're grateful for God.
Yes.
Amen.
Yes.
Amen.
Yes.
Amen.
With-
Amen.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. My knees touch the ground every morning.
Every morning.
With gratitude.
Amen. Amen.
Yeah.
Two more questions. In closing, what would you like to leave with my listening audience? Any profound statements, comments you would like to leave with my listening audience?
Nothing profound, but I would like to repeat what I tell and the mantra that we give our youth.
Okay.
You know, at Dunbar, we have a paradigm, medical paradigm that we go through where we get kids from Dunbar, Sly, and Tampa Bay Tech.
Okay.
And we tell them 4 things. BEST, believe in yourself. All right? You got to know that if this is what you want to do, if you believe in this, you're going to get it done. Extra effort. Give extra effort for E. Go out, you know, you've got to turn in the extra credit if you want to, you know, the excellence. You've got to ask the questions. You've got to, you know, pay attention. You know, you've got to raise your hands. You know, extra effort. S, stay in school.
Stay in school.
Yeah. No matter what level you're at, stay in school. I'm still in school. I'm still having to take recertifications and,
Right.
you know, and believe in learning more than just for today. And T, be thankful.
Amen.
Yeah, with gratitude.
Amen.
And that's something that's missing, you know, in the 21st century, and we're trying to corral that in our youth, that gratitude goes a long way. And so I'd like to leave those.
Okay.
BEST, believe in yourself,
Amen.
extra effort, stay in school, and be thankful and give gratitude.
Okay. Right. What's the best talk show in the land?
Pastor Webb, a word with Pastor Webb.
And God bless you, brother. Once again, from me to you, you're the best. And to my listening audience, may God bless you real good.